Welcome back, Andrew.
Thanks for having me back on, mate.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Second. Was this your third time technically now?
I think it is my third time.
A hat trick ball.
Yeah,
mate.
it is actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because we did one together. Then we did one with the Team Lakota, and then
we did
back on again.
Yeah. Obviously a popular guy.
Yeah, it's too popular, mate. You're cutting about. I've seen you cutting about.
I've been about, mate. Yeah.
Beard's looking epic as always, my friend.
It's coming along. I had a trim the other day. It was getting a little bit out of hand, so I needed to tame the beast. So it's coming back in line.
You should just go absolute upside down head and go completely bold.
I am contemplating it. We'll see how it goes. Because then people will start wanting to have like tattoos and stuff like that.
What a way to start the show.
I know. Yeah, it always starts with the beard. I was on Chris's podcast the other day, and that pretty much started off with beard's looking good. I was like,
oh, it does look good though. Well, not so much at the minute because obviously lockdown, but if you go out on the piss, do like chicks come up to you and go, "Can I tickle your beard?"
I haven't had a full beard since prior to I started growing it during the first lockdown. So I've always had like a short beard, and it was in the first lockdown when I shaved my head. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it and just
do it, mate.
Let's just see what happens and how it looks, and it's all right. So, but I think obviously when I have seen people, they've been like, "Can I touch your beard? Crack on."
Yeah, just have a go. So I don't have the patience for it because I miss little bits like down the side here.
Yeah,
it doesn't grow properly. It's like as smooth as a baby's ass there.
See, if you just left it though, it'd fill in. It's really long.
I get to the point, mate,
from underneath
because for some reason my facial hair grows straight, so I look like a fucking brush. I look like a fucking broom that you'd sweep your garden with. My brother takes a piss out of it all the time. He's like, "What's going on with that? You're gonna go brush the fucking garden?" Yeah, fuck off, you cunt. But tash wise, you grow a decent tash.
Really well, though.
You grow a decent tash.
Yeah, own that then, mate.
I always wind the missus up. I'm like, I'm going to grow a tash, like proper tash, and she's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, I am. I'm going to get the fucking wax and everything.
Yeah, just do it. We have that's one thing that I've noticed I have to do. I have to put wax in mine to keep it out of my mouth, like because it does. Yeah, but it's a work in
progress, mate. And being an outdoorsman, you have to have a beard. It's like a rule, isn't it?
Yeah, but do you know what is an absolute nightmare? So especially at the minute with like the weather, when it's cold, obviously you get condensated breath.
Yeah.
So you get like a wet tash and a bit of a wet beard. A few weeks ago, when it was like properly snowing out, and I got frost in my beard.
That's awesome.
And that was a new thing. Although it looked mint, it was cold.
That's a new thing. Cold face.
Yeah.
Obviously, you see it with the mountaineers and what have you when they're up in Everest and that. You have all like the clumps of ice and shit. Obviously, you're in fucking Everest. Yeah. But like, I had it today. I literally went for a walk around the back of the shed, basically. As those that listen may have seen, I've got quite a nice little walking bit around the back. It's all flat, standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went for a nice little walk. And my missus, like, she gave me a kiss earlier when we just got back in the house. She's like, "I hope that's like condensation or a bit of like damp, and that's just not snot hanging out your face."
Not snot.
Like, it might be a bit of both. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so it's. We'll see how it's got. I can't see me shaving. I don't think I'll ever be clean shaven again, unless I enter employment which deems it to be necessary. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I think people think you do it because you're lazy, and it couldn't be.
Oh, it's
from the truth. Do you know what I mean?
Every person I know has got a big old fucking full beard. They have to get all the products in it because it gets all matted, doesn't it? And whatever.
Yeah, or you get really bad skin under it as well if you don't look after it. You know, because obviously your skin on your face is different to the skin on the top of your head. So I think it's way more sensitive. So yeah, you've got to be on top of it. Plus, otherwise it'll look a mess. Otherwise, you've got to look good. You know,
got to look good, mate.
Got to work.
That's half the battle.
Got to work what you've got, Brave.
Best part of the rule.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, how are you finding this new New lockdown 3.5 or whatever we're on.
See, I'm on. Without going too political, I'm on like way two sides of the fence on it, because I think it's fantastic in some senses that everyone has time to focus on themselves. It's a very unique thing. I think that no one's been unless you've been away or anything like that, doing your solo expeds. Very few people get that time for themselves and to focus on you and your family, your immediate family, things like that. However, I had this discussion at work the other day that, like, when the first lockdown happened, the feeling that you got from the general public is it was unknown, it was a little bit exciting, and no one sort of knew what was going to happen. And now the consensus you kind of get is that everyone's just like, oh well, I don't care, I'm going out anyway. And you're like,
it's like when you get licked out on tour,
I
just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, but then in the same aspect, I've got, obviously, my brother's a paramedic, and I've got a lot of friends who work in the healthcare and that, obviously through search and rescue and stuff. And they're all just broken, mate. They're all absolutely just wrecked. There's a lot more staff off now, obviously, because they've done 12 months of this, really tough time. So there's people who are off because they have to be off because they're just burnt out. And then there's obviously now, because there's track and trace and things, there's more staff off as well, because they're around it, so they're going to catch it and things like that.
Yeah, cool.
So in some ways, this happened way too late. You could argue it was the cost of people wanting a Christmas, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I said it a few times, mate, in regards to like the Christmas bit. I said to the missus way before, I was like, Christmas will get cancelled. She was like, no, we're going to have it. We're going to have it. And I was like, no, it will. But the thing with what I've noticed with Boris, not that because it is a political thing. I voted for Boris in the first place, so I'm one of those guys. But I was on the Boris bandwagon up until around Christmas time, and I was like, he will do the popular opinion first. Like he's setting all these little
things.
He's setting the tier system because he didn't want people to go, well, you're a fucking dickhead. You said we weren't going to this wasn't going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's not his fault. He didn't fucking set the virus.
No.
And he has to make these tough decisions. And sometimes you have to be ruthless at times just to say, no, you're fucking locked down. Sorry.
I genuinely see it from like a healthcare perspective, and it doesn't matter who's in power. You know what I mean? No one's done this before.
Yeah, I know.
And the other countries, when people are like, well, they've done a much better job. Well, the general public there might have a better consensus of doing as they're told.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're told not to do something,
I was on the same boat, mate. Definitely. I was like, well, fucking look at New Zealand, look at Australia. They did the lockdown. They listened, got out of the lockdown. They're now pretty much back to normal. Yeah. But then it was, hang on, their population is a lot smaller than ours.
Yeah.
That could be a factor. And then you listen to other things. Like I listened to the Joe Rogan episode. I put a post up about it the other day about nutrition and diet and how certain foods help build your immune system, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And that was a real big point. And I was trying to say to me missus that a lot of people eat shit. I eat shit, and my immune system isn't fighting as well as it should because of the stuff that I eat. I eat complex carbohydrates, things like that, which causes inflammation in the body, as I'm sure you probably know, which your immune system will then try and fight that as well as other things, which is why you're more likely to get certain things. Like, they were talking about India. India is a fucking highly populated country, but they had very few cases, and it's almost fucking eradicated because of the nutrition and things that they have, the things that they're eating, like cumin, that I don't think I've ever had anything with cumin in it, if I'm honest, and things like that, and the vitamin D that you need. So, and that's the other thing. A big thing that fights this virus is vitamin D, which you get from being outside.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed outside.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just frustrating. But
see, like, what's frustrating with it is there's a lot of people who sort of like, you're told you can't go out, but if you're essential, you can, and think, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like try and find a loophole well,
Yeah.
don't try and find a loophole. Just do as you're told.
Yeah,
so
just do it.
If you're told not, I appreciate. I fully thought businesses need to function and all that sort of stuff, and the economy and all that. But you know what I mean? Like when people go, oh, there's 2,000 people died, or there's 1,000. You know what I mean? I think people are too busy looking at a number and not thinking like, well, that's like someone's like mum or dad or brother,
exactly.
sister. You know,
and
there are people,
I'm a big one for it, mate, because I don't want to sound like hypocritical towards myself at that times. Like I go flash gone fucking 7 when Boris cancelled Christmas. I was like, fucking cunt ruin Christmas, fucking all this. And as much as I rant and moan, I've been sticking to the rules. Like I'm a key worker, so I go to work. My missus isn't. She's home with the kids, and that's all we do. If I need to do the food shop, I'll go to the food shop. We do no non-essential travel. Yeah. As much as I want to fucking drive to my mum and dad in fucking Hereford, but I can't.
Yeah.
And as much as I hear things on LBC and things like that, the stats show that lockdown isn't working and what have you. And as much as I love that, and I'm like, yeah, look, I'm just one person that, you know what I mean? You got to stick to the rules.
Yeah. Definitely.
We appointed the government to make these decisions. Otherwise, we'd have chimps running around like fucking supermonks.
I was out the other day, obviously, because I'm really lucky where I am. So locally, I can walk up to the peaks.
Yeah, you got lovely fucking walks, mate. Around.
So I'm just very, very. I never really appreciate how lucky I actually was
don't,
until it's happened. Really, you know, and I've been outdoors is a massive part of my life. You know, I can't hide that either. You know, it's plastered everywhere. What was definitely strange? Obviously, they had this. You've got to stay local. You know, they need to define that a little bit more. But
they do, yeah.
There was like a group of lads walked past me the other day, all from Liverpool. I'm like, man, I live in Cheshire. Like, there is no way that you all live together for starters, because there's like 8 of you.
Yeah.
And you are all from here, because you don't sound like you're from here.
No.
You know,
accent's a bit different.
Like, it's things like that. Yeah. My mate got involved in a bit of a not an argument, but a bit of you know, if you need to sort of do, you know, you're doing. And he was like, yeah, well, it's a bit shit where we live. And he was like, that's not our problem. Like,
fuck
you don't like where you live.
Then back over there.
It was a proper like hot fuzz moment. Like, he's not even from round here.
He's not even from around here.
Honestly, mate, I just despair.
I get it, mate.
Plus, as well,
even at my work, mate, I had to send a couple, because I'm the boss now. So I had to send a couple of my officers around. We're just security officers, mine. We don't have any actual powers. There was a group of teens, the same teens that fucking, just a bunch of fucking dickheads. That's the only way I can describe it. They're, if you want to look at white privilege in a dictionary, that's those little fuckers. They have like no sense of community, no sense of like right or wrong. They think they know it all. There's a group of them. It's got to be about 6, 7, maybe 8, all sat around a bench, like near the tennis courts, and it's like, what are you doing? Just do as you're told. Go home. So I sent a couple of my officers over there, and they were like, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, we're going to phone the police if you like, and you can have a lovely £200 fine that you can give to your parents. But it's like, why have you got to give back, chat? Just go home. It's shit for everyone. It's not just shit for one person. It's shit for everyone. But we got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Got to get on with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I fully expected it to be sort of like, you know, when it first happened, going into 2021, being like a little bit better than what things are. The only thing that really annoyed me is that I'm a massive. I can't advise anyone like more to get in the outdoors and do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if all you ever do is get up and go to work, that is not a life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big believer. It's not a life. Like, there's so much more to do. Even if you love your job, like, you know, just do more. Go and see all these amazing places. The flip side being that there's a high percentage of the population that all they do is, if that's what they want, fine. But all they'll do is go to work, go home, go to the pub, or go shopping. Because that means that all these places that I'm telling people to go to, there's a small percentage of the people who go to those places, and it's normally really quiet. Well, no one can go anywhere, and they're told they can exercise. All the places in the outdoors that you would normally go to get away from people are rammed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I used to come here because it was quiet to get away from like this.
Yeah.
You know.
A couple of little walks that I found near me, which I put a couple of posts with, about, like each Sunday I've done a little post. It's not even that high. It looks fucking high because it's basically it's a quarry.
I saw one the other day that you did.
Yeah, it's a quarry. So I'm looking over the quarry. So in the summer that is going to be fucking brilliant when I go up there, because you'll be able to literally look out over my village and then into the next couple of villages. It's just going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
At the minute, it's perfect for me because I don't mind going out in the cold and the wet and the rain.
Yeah.
But you know, it is a strange one, especially like you said about the staying local, because what I define as local could be different to what you define as local. But I think it's a 5 mile radius, isn't it? They said something like that.
Yeah, and like, or even if like, my view is if you can walk there and walk back, that to me is local. Like, now if you can walk further than someone else and walk further back, fine. And do you know what? If everyone focused on doing that fitness, like do you know, like for many years now, the NHS has been saying the best thing to cure most of the problems in the UK regarding health is being outdoors and fitness.
Yep.
It's great for mental health, it's great for your physical health and well-being. If everyone used the lockdown times to do what they were being told to do, so exercise once a day, mate, when we come out of this, the NHS will be like overwhelmed with great success stories of people who've changed their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
But sadly, that's not the case. You know,
and that's another thing that I'm going to quickly touch on while you're saying that about the NHS and how overrun it is and whatnot. And this might be me just being a bit broad over it all, but I was talking to the missus again about this because her dad had COVID quite bad, and he is one of the fittest individuals I've ever met. He is ridiculous. He's a freak of nature. Like, he trains 2-3 times a day normally. For example, he will go and train while he's waiting to pick his wife up, my mother-in-law. He'll get home and then he'll go and do another fitness class. And then if possible, he might do another one after that. He's that type of guy. But anyway, he had it quite bad. It really knocked him for 6. But he did exactly what you're supposed to do when you have a virus. You lock yourself away and you let your body fucking deal with it. Unless it gets really bad and you can't breathe and so and so and so. Then you go, right, I better go to the fucking hospital. Well, I can guarantee most of the people that have gone to hospital and overwhelming the NHS are the ones that should just go, I think I just need to be in bed for a bit. But because of all this, I'm gonna call it scaremongering, but you know, all this sort of media hype on it all, people are fucking petrified. So they get these symptoms and they're like, fuck, I've got a bit of a cough, I can't breathe very well. I better go straight to the doctors, straight to the NHS, straight to the fucking hospital. And it's like, we can't do anything, we've got no beds or anything. It's like, well, if you just stayed in your own bed and let your body do what it's designed to do. Not saying I'm a medical expert or anything, but
so I've been wearing I've been wearing a Whoop strap.
Yeah, I did notice.
For about, I don't know, 6-7 months now. And if you actually use the data, they're a mint training tool. If you use it for what it's supposed to, they're a really good training tool. But you've got to understand your body and your data and all that. Now, in the summer, I got quite ill. And before I realised I was ill, everything on my date was well off. And I was looking at it thinking, that doesn't look good. Like, my resting heart rate was ridiculous when I was asleep and things like that. 110 when I was asleep. And I was like, no symptoms of COVID or anything like that.
That is high when you're asleep.
But I kept getting what I thought was a sinus infection. So I was like, I've had them in the past and, you know, they're not very pleasant, a bit painful, and it goes away. Well, this didn't go away. And I ended up with like a perforated eardrum, nice. An abscess in my mouth, which I had to have a tooth taken out of. And then what prompted me to sort of, you know, stop being a man about it and go to like phone the doctor was I woke up one day and I couldn't see properly on my left eye, and I was like, oh dear. This is definitely,
oh shit.
You know, this needs this is way above taking paracetamol. This is now a level of I need to speak to a doctor.
Not ibuprofen
so
and crack on.
So I phoned the NHS and they were like, we're going to give you, you know, a load of antibiotics because that is definitely what is wrong and you need that. And I was like, okay. They're like, are you worried? Yeah, I am, to be fair.
I can't see.
So yeah, so as a precaution, I had to go to A&E.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that was one of the most frightening experiences ever. Walking into there and everyone like a full on like a bowler suit, being like, stand still. Do you have COVID symptoms? And I was like, want to get like, look. And they were like, oh dear. Now they don't know what it was. Antibiotics, that solved it and it was fine, but that was grim. But what was interesting is that, like, I know people who've kind of like, I don't know, you know, people who kind of just go to the hospital for anything.
Yeah.
And they're always there. Everyone knows one place like that. And what is funny is since all this is kicked off, they don't go anymore.
Yeah.
They don't just walk up to A&E and like, oh, I don't feel well. You know, I think I've been to A&E as an adult, well, in my entire life, probably about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
and they've all been like, that was one of them. That was a definite like, oh, I'm going blind. I need to see a doctor.
I had one. I went once.
Broke shoulder.
Yeah, similar sort of things. Like, I don't think I've ever been through a sickness bug or anything like that. Obviously I've been to the med center and shit like that, but I think one of the times I went was we played a group of travelers, we shall call them, in a 6-a-side football match, and it kicked off a bit, and basically a bit of a scrap on the fucking football pitch, and I threw one onto the floor, and I was getting ready to lay some fucking ground and pound, and one of the lads came and volleyed me in the head, which was nice. I always get,
but I didn't tickle it.
But I was all right. wasn't knocked out or anything. But then obviously the game got abandoned and whatnot. And I got home and I was like, fucking, my jaw is killing me. Like, and I was like, I can barely open my mouth properly. So I went down, had it checked out. To be fair, it was just a muscle fucking problem down the side. And I was like, that's fucking lucky. And yeah, the other time was, again, I got kicked in the head, stopping my brother having a fight, and I got volleyed in the face for my sins. And I fractured a part of my orbital bone in my fucking cheek. That was nice. But I remember it because it was Christmas Day. I had to go down. It was Christmas Eve. I got kicked in the head. Woke up Christmas morning. My eye was completely shut, which was nice for my mum to fucking see. She almost kicked my ass. She almost kicked my ass because of it. She was like, "What are you doing? You always ruin Christmas." I was like, what? I don't always ruin Christmas. It's a bit harsh. Yeah, so I went down. I remember
after Home Alone, that, innit?
Yeah, I had to sit in this fucking chair, mate, and I was all locked in like this. And they had to check to see if my eye was working still. I was like, well, it is. I can see. And they were like, well, we need to just check. And they put this fucking, looked like a spike coming towards my eye. But my eye was like held open.
Yeah, that's some Minority Report.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And then it was like on my eyeball. And I was like, this is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever had. But yeah, that's some life.
I got a splinter in my eye when I was a kid. I remember my dad being like, "There best be something wrong with you," and I was like, "I'm blind." And he took me to A&E, and they were like, took me to A&E, and I remember the same thing being like fastened in this machine, and they put this stuff in my eye to like numb my eye basically. And I was probably about 15, 16, so I wasn't like a young kid. Yeah. And I remember this doctor looking at my dad going, "Do you want to hold on to him?" And my dad went, "Nah, I'll be fine." And he went, yeah, hold on to him. And I was like, this is going to work. And that absolutely killed whatever they put in my eye. I was like, Jesus Christ. Fucking stabbed in the face. You know? Yeah, it was unreal. Yeah. So, yeah, fun times.
Yeah. It's always good to have little stories like that. Always good.
Yeah, you learn a lot.
Yeah, you do. How's the archery going?
So so until COVID,
yeah,
until another lockdown happened, it was going really well. So because what happens when we went to the tier system, it was open because of where we lived was tier 2. And then when it went into tier 3, it was still open. Tier 4, they shut the indoor range, which is fine because she went to the woodland and shot outside. But now, obviously, with the lockdown, it can't be open at all. And it's one of the things I've always said to people who want to do it. It's just frustrating because you have to continue to go. You can't have time off if you want to be good.
Yeah.
But it was going really well. Like I was getting an hour in every day before work, so I've gone a lot.
Got your reps in
recently.
But you want to start getting as big as Joe Rogan and get a fucking range in your own house, mate. Stand up garden.
Oh, mate, that'd be the absolute dream. Well, I listened to obviously his stuff anyway, and his mate John Dudley. He's like an archery legend. I listened to his podcast and that as well. You know, and like I've taken a lot from listening to how they train as well, because although I go every day for an hour, if I'm shooting really bad, I just stop, because you can't push through a poor performance if you will, like with that. Something's off and you won't correct it. Likewise, if you go and I shoot my first like 3 or 4 hours and they're absolutely perfect, I'm like, right, well, I might as well go home because I'm not wasting reps then. But then I sort of set myself like at the start of the year, well, not the start of the year, the end of last year, obviously, like a proper training program, because I was going that often. I noticed on like the third day of going, my shots were always not on par with any other day. It's because the third day your body's like knackered. It's the same muscle group over and over. So what I started doing is, instead of just shooting a target and shooting for points, each time I go now, I try and do an element of something each time. So like one day all I'll do is work on shot release. The other day I'll work on draw cycle and form, and then, you know, 1 or 2 days I'll shoot for points and practice. What was interesting is that last time I went, I shot just on repetition. So I wasn't aiming at like, you know, a center gold dot. I was just aiming at a board. And my grouping was like a 2-inch group, and it was like absolutely mint. Then I put a target face up to be like, oh, let's just see if we can get, you know, mint picture this. Let's get this in. Horrific. As soon as I put a target face up, absolutely horrific. You know, because I think that is what's, you know, that's the hobby. Like I did a podcast the other day, and on one of mine, talking to Jen, she shoots a lot, and saying that a lot of people say they go to archery a lot. Now, it's probably one of the only non-ego driven sports I've come across. It's a very quiet sport. Anyone who's good, you kind of look at them and go, God, they're good. And it's because you look at them and go, they're good because they put the hours in. Effort in. Like, you know, you can't take it from anyone. You know, you can't be like, oh, well, you're using steroids. Hey, it's nothing like that. You know, so it's just like pure respect of, they've obviously been doing it a long time while they put a lot of effort in. So, but what I have seen, obviously, the more archery stuff that I've posted up and that, the more you gain like almost a targeted audience, don't you, on your socials and things like that. So obviously, I see a lot more archers now and people looking to get into the sport. But what you do see is a lot of people who say they do archery, and then you look at the posts and you think you probably go once a year, if that.
Yeah,
because if you were going,
that's like me saying I do archery because I did it like 2 years ago as part of an adventure trading thing.
yeah, exactly. What I would say is that I would advise anyone, like, if you want to start a new hobby, though, that is a wicked hobby. Like, it's good for your head. You know, for me, it's probably one of the only things that I've done. I think that and photography, you know, are the only 2 things I've ever done that I've really calmed like my head down if I'm having a bad time, or like I'm struggling to like. Do you know when you get in one of those moods where you're a bit like, it's probably anxiety to be fair, but you know, you get like a bit on edge when you're a bit like angry about everything and just dead irritable. That's one of the only things that I've done that's cleared my head. Yeah. I think I noticed it more when obviously we're all locked up for, you know, months, and then they opened everything back up again. Like going to like the shop and that, I was like, I can't be asked going. I don't want to be around people. Like, I just don't want to be around people. It's not the case of like I'm miserable. I'm just done with human beings. So yeah, well, yeah. So like, you know,
I do the same, mate. Even now, when I go and do the food shop, I'll put fucking headphones on because I don't want anyone talking to me that I don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
And
it's a tough one, isn't it?
Which is quite funny, considering I do a podcast. It's like I always say to my missus, like, even when I'm on like the school runs and things like that, she says, "Oh, all the mums and dads and that say that you don't talk to people." I went, "Yeah, because I don't like people. Unless I want to talk to you, I ain't gonna fucking talk to you."
Yeah. Well, when I started doing my podcast, I remember when
that
we
was
first
going.
spoke. Yeah, it's going. I'll touch on that in a sec. So, like, what I was going to say is that, like, when you first started like doing it, you said it's really difficult to have like your first one will be really difficult.
Yeah.
Well, my first podcast was me doing an introduction saying, "This is now the podcast."
Yeah.
And that is probably the most awkward thing. Like, I'm very confident speaking in front of people and doing stuff like this. But when you're doing it on your own, there's no conversation there.
Strange,
it's
isn't
difficult, But then the one that I did with the first full episode that I did with my brother, kind of about our upbringing and why we both do the things that we do now. That was like, obviously, I know my brother inside and out. We're twins. Like, don't get much closer than that. But what with that was amazing. It's like, it's very rare in your life that you'll sit down with someone who you know really well and talk to them about their life.
It's weird,
their view on things. So from my perspective of sort of like interviewing people, if you will, and having them on the podcast has been great, because these are people that I already know, but they've done a lot.
Yeah, try and get people that you admire and you want to know more about, basically. Makes it a bit easier to have the conversation, I find.
Yeah. Well, I'm using Anchor as like a distribution
good in it, Anchor.
Platform. It is good, and it's good because it lets you look at your stats.
Yeah.
I by no means thought there'd be like, over 100 people listening to each one. Like, did not think that at all. I thought
mate.
1 or 2 people will listen to it and might be my mum who listens to it or whatever, and that'll be it.
On repeat.
But but then when I put an episode, say if I put an episode out now and was like, here's an episode on whatever it's going to be on, whoever I'm talking to about whatever, straight away people are on it because you can see. But like the feedback you get, like, because you get a bit lost in it, don't you? You can sometimes feel that you've not really answered questions and you've kind of just gone around them, and it is difficult because I think in the back of your mind you're conscious that you're recording something.
That's always
like
always semi-conscious. That is like, I find it sometimes where I will like stutter or start pausing because I'm trying to think of the right words to say, like, because I know I'm being recorded. But I get to the point as well where I'm like, oh, fuck it, because it's my podcast. I don't edit.
At the minute I'm only using Anchor on my phone to record with now. Like, when I can, I'm going to get some mics and stuff like that, so I can phone people and do it like this. Because when I'm just using the phone, obviously you lose half the ability to do it remotely.
So what I do, as you probably notice, like as we're doing now on Zoom, when I stop recording on Zoom, that will turn this audio into an MP4 straight away. And then you can upload that straight to Anchor and then do all the editing.
So do you do the MP4? Is this off your laptop though? Yeah,
it's on my laptop at the minute.
Yeah. So
my pile of shit laptop that takes forever to load. I hate this.
Well, I was looking at getting a Roadcaster because they look mint, but they're like 600 quid. And at first I was like, well, do I spend 600 quid on something that people might not listen to? But now people have listened to it, and I've enjoyed doing it as well.
That's the thing with mine as well. I'm like, I've got this. My dad gave me this laptop, to be fair, and I'm like, it does the job. And then I'm like, well, I could do with, like, say, a MacBook or something like that, so that I can get it straight from my phone to connect to and all that bollocks. And I'm like, I haven't really got the money for that. But
it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, if I touch wood one day, if I had like sponsors that are like, here you go, Tommo, have fucking a little bit of money, get yourself some decent equipment, give us a few shout outs on some episodes, I'll be like, oh yeah, brilliant. But again, it's like I was saying to Chris the other day, Chris Mike, I was like, I'm not in the market for a sponsor. I'd love one, sure. Like if anyone's listening and wants to sponsor the podcast, cheers. But and I said it earlier as well to John, at some point I'm gonna have to try and sort something out, because I'm getting quite good at this now, and I'm always in the Fight Club mind where if you're good at something, don't do it for free. I'm not going to be charging people to listen to my podcast. That's not what You know what I mean? That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I know some people do. Is it patriotism or something? I don't know. I can't think of the word now. Where they can pay like £1.
A Patreon account.
That's the word. Patreon. That's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like,
see, I've heard of it. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
But so like, I've seen a few people on like YouTube and that have them, and I think there's a couple of other podcasts that do them, so that they can build a little bit of finance behind them, so they can pay for someone's train ticket to come to sit in their studio or whatever, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's something that could happen in the pipeline. It might not. You know what I mean? Is what it is.
See, for me, like, I really enjoy doing it, and I think it's great. What I would love to do is just put more out and get more of my listeners, well, more of my my followers and things like that on, because it'd be great.
Exactly.
I think what I'm going to do during lockdown, when I can in the evenings and stuff, because I've got my lads and stuff like that, is probably just do a lot of live feeds with people that I've not.
A bit like Chris does. Chris Michaels, he does his via like, which I think is a very good way of doing it. I think.
Yeah, I think that'll be good, because I mean, there's people who are constantly being like, "Oh, what come on your show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can." Like, I'm not saying you can't, because I'm not had you on. I haven't done it because I haven't got the facility to do it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, if you're gonna drop, £500-600 on something that you do just in your own time for something to do, you know, I mean, like, if I stopped producing my podcast now, I mean, it'd be great to have the view that people were devastated, but I don't really think anyone would care, because it's my thing, it's for me, and people like listening to it. Yeah. So I mean, someone said to me, "Oh, you should do a GoFundMe," and I'm like, "Well, no, because it's for me." Like,
GoFundMe.
I'm not. I'm not showing work.
Who's the charity for? Well, me, obviously.
I'm not. I'm not aiming.
I know
to change
exactly
the
what
world.
you mean. And with the podcast as well, I think you're probably in the same sort of mind as me, that this is a release. It is a bit of fun as well, and you don't want it to then have to force you to put something out. Like at the minute, I do mine Wednesdays, Sundays, Wednesdays is my release days usually. I don't want to then be like, fuck, I gotta get something out. If I don't want to put it out, I won't put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, that's
I don't want it to then become driven by money and then become like, per se, my job. And then it's like, I've got to go fucking work now. I enjoy coming out of the house to come down to the shed to have a conversation with someone. This is a bit of joy for me, a bit of time away from the stresses indoors and stresses at home. It's like I can just let loose and swear and shout and
do what you want.
Joke about, be a silly goose, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
It's a mint little setup you've got though, like the studio.
It's coming along. The other side of the fucking shed, the other side of the shed does not look like this.
Is it a shed? Yeah, is it an actual?
Yeah, it's an actual shed, that side. Nah, to be fair, it's not really. It's I try and put most of the stuff into boxes so it's out of the way, but it is a mess over there at the minute. But yeah, this side's all right. You know what I mean?
yeah. It'd be mint if you could get like like a proper like log cabin or
that is the dream. So eventually, when me and the missus finally get the funds together so we can move into our forever home, inverted commas, then I'm going to hopefully have a garden big enough so I can have a proper
studio
cabin sort of thing, where I can go and take the boys for a beer, but it's also, shall we hit record? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My father-in-law, perfect log. It's like a fucking house down the bottom of his garden. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like the girls, my daughters, they've got a like a Wendy house next door, which is probably the size of my shed. It's ridiculous. But his cabin is like the size of my garden. It's ridiculous. It's got like Wi-Fi in there, heating, fucking beer for it. It's like a proper man shed, man cabin. It's like, I'm jealous. I want it.
See, like the podcast is something I toyed with doing for probably about 2 years.
Yeah.
I've been like, should I do it? Should I not? I thought from the offset of doing mine, I've always said, like, listen, I'm not going to set a date when I release anything. I'm going to put them out when I put them out. Because I know I don't want to stop doing one of my hobbies or something that I do
just
for
because
me.
you've got something else to
because
do.
I've got to then do something else. You know what I mean? Like I'm grateful people listen to it and enjoy it. So I'll keep doing it, but my life comes around it. You know, like I go to work as well. You know what I mean? Like at some point I have to work as well. You know,
standard. Yeah, but that's the reason why I did Sundays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays I haven't done one on Wednesday yet because I'm getting home at 6:30 now, sometimes 7. I'm like, I really can't be bothered. Like on the weekend, I'm free now. I'm like, I do Monday to Friday now. That's my job. So Sundays mainly the record days now. So I've done 2 today. I've done John this morning, and then yourself now, which will come out Wednesday. I think I'll put it out.
How was John's? Was he all right?
Yeah, he was all right. Yeah, he's as he is. Yeah, he said he made a good point because he said we could have done the 3-way, but you find that you're always waiting to talk, and then sometimes you step over other people. A bit like when we did the 4-way with Lee and Stu and myself and yourself. It was a good episode. Don't get me wrong. We were like fucking 3-hour episode, but at times it was like Lee was pretty quiet for a fair bit. It's like, could do with it. If we were in the shed as a collective doing it, it would have been a bit easier. But you know.
Yeah. So the last Lakota trip that I did like a recce for the veterans events we're going to do.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Which is going to be awesome whenever COVID allows us to do them. It's going to be ace because they're going to be free and it'll be sweet. But they were ideal times to like sit and record. Now the one night that was like so I did a podcast with Stu and was like let's get one out of the way, which was good. I then did another one with Jay. However, obviously we're outdoors, so we're under a tarp, sat around a fire, and then the worst rain and hail happened. I was like, there's absolutely no point. Like the mics pick up everything.
Literally no point.
Like, so just no point at all. And it's a shame because probably about 35-40 minutes into a 1-hour episode, and you don't get a warning, do you? So you can be like, right, we're going to stop in 5 minutes because you're not going to be able to hear in a second. It just like on, and it's just nightmare.
Yeah, I used to get it even in here, mate. Like before I got the mic set up and what have you. If it started raining, he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Because hitting the roof of the shed, it's like there's no soundproofing or anything, so that's all you can hear. And you're like, "Oh, brilliant, good episode." Cheers.
Mate, the mics make all the difference. So like we've done some video recording for work. Obviously, when we're doing like gun reviews and things like that. So I did like a couple without a mic on. Obviously, like any mic on a camera or anything like they're directional. But obviously, when you're reviewing like a firearm, there's times where you'll be like behind the gun, or you'll be looking down at what you're doing, or pulling it apart. So whilst you're talking through like a process and your head's away,
you're not going to.
It doesn't pick up anything. Then we started using, we got some Rode Go mics.
Nice.
The wireless Go ones, which are they're expensive, but you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? And since having those sort of like clipped on the inside of your jacket, no one can see them. They're ace. You know what I mean? They're really good. So I think the next set I get will probably just be a set of wireless mics. To be fair,
that's all you need. I think this is only a cheap fucking mic. I think my brother got it off me mum for like a karaoke mic or something. But I got the little fucking the arm boom and this thing. This thing is good until I actually move the mic, because when I move, it makes this horrible sound. So apologise for that already for the listeners.
A demo.
Yeah, that was just me piss assing about. But yeah, it's been fucking good, mate. I haven't added too much of a drama with the lockdowns. Like I said, not much has changed for me being a key worker. I'm still going to work.
Yeah. Same. I was still in work and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And like 2020, a lot of people, it was shit for them. Like, but for me personally, I went through I had a really good year personally. Like, the podcast went like sky high for me as a small podcast. It went from strength to strength.
Yeah.
In terms of personal development, I set out the documentary that has got a fair few views now, which I was actually quite sure. I've had like over 1,000 views, which was mad, in my opinion. Like, there was that. My book is coming along quite nicely. I've got our man Chris Michaels looking through it at the minute, because I can't spell for shit, so he's basically doing that.
A ghostwriter, that's what you need, mate.
Yeah. But you know, I got promoted at work and things like that. Like all this happened in like 2020, where everyone was going, "This is fucking shit." I'm like, "Oh, I'm having a fucking awesome time."
Yeah. See, like for me, like again, like it's the same. So like I can look at 2020 as a year and be like, there's elements of it that were, you know, were a bit shit. Like I lost a few people and things like that, and that was a bit crap. But if I was to look at that compared to the end of 2018 and the start of 2019, so 6 months either way, that was a real shit time for me. So 2020 was like, oh, well, it's not as bad as what that was, because that was really shit.
Exactly.
And like in terms of like getting in the outdoors, we had like a good summer, you know, and if you were sensible, you could get about and do what you want, you know. So I spent loads of time paddleboarding and doing tons of archery, and like, I think it's the first time that I focused on doing the things that were actually good for me,
for yourself,
because you couldn't do it with anyone else. Yeah, so I think it's what you make it. I mean, I fully understand there's people who are, you know, live on their own and all that sort of stuff, and you know, people have lost loved ones, and I'm totally with that, you know. But in terms of like, if you can use it as a time to
for personal
better
development,
yourself,
it was a brilliant time.
Yeah, and phys as well. Like if everyone uses the time they're supposed to go and do outdoor exercise, go for a run. Just go for a run. It's like the cheapest hobby you can start in the world.
Or even a walk.
You can put one foot in front of the other.
Even a walk.
Yeah, I'll just go for a walk. Yeah. Like start off walking and then do a jog. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's mental health would be loads better by just getting outside.
Yeah, you're right in terms of like, especially my brother mentioned it on his podcast. Like, it's one of the first years that I can recall actually having proper seasons. As in, like, we had a fucking brilliant, like, spring was nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice, because that was obviously the start of old Lockie lockdown. We had a fucking banging summer. Autumn was actually like autumn.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot. The leaves were falling nicely. It wasn't too much rain, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
When winter's come and it's like actual winter, like you guys up north have got actual snow.
Yeah.
Down here we have it. Down here, like, this is them punishing us for making our own mutated fucking version of COVID. They're like, you're not having the snow. You can have the lovely cold -3 weather, but you are not having the snow. Has it booed you out again?
The southern version. Yeah, I mean, like, oh dear.
Hold on. I think both our connections have gone a bit unstable, but I think we'll be back in the room in a sec, I think. Oh. You back? You're back.
Yep.
Am I back? Yeah. It all went a bit fucking...
Yes, mate. Yeah.
It all went a bit scopey then. Hey, started talking about snow and mutated COVID.
That's good. It's because we were slagging off the north and the south divide. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, like for me, summertime was like 30 odd degrees. You know, so when I was
lovely,
like
mate.
Paddleboarding and like up in the mountains,
as much as I prefer winter, summer was brilliant. Like,
yeah.
I'm more of a autumn, winter, spring type of person. I don't like it too hot. I get fucking even more grumpy than normal. But
typical English person. Too hot. Hey?
Too hot. Especially when I'm fucking recording in the shed. I'm like, I'm fucking melting.
Well, there was one day I got a new road bike delivered, and I was like, I'll build it, and I was like, I'll take it out for a quick spin. I've been in work all day, not eating properly all day, and it was about 28 degrees.
Yeah,
pretty hot for the UK, really. But like properly sunny, like no cloud, so just sunshine. And I was like, I'll go for a real quick bike ride. I'll probably do like 5k just to test the bike out, and I'll come home like an absolute tit. I did about 25k with no water, and I just came home like drop my bike and just dive straight into the cold bin, like boof.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it. Have you still got your cold bin out?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
got it out now. Free ice now.
Sorry?
Free ice.
Yeah. To be fair though, the water temperature when it's cold, same with like lakes and stuff like that, doesn't change that much. What makes it difficult is the air temperature. Yeah. So if you get in it and you can get in it and you to your chest or your neck or whatever you want to do, and you can stay underwater, it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's still unpleasant first thing in the morning. Like that's get me wrong. When you get out is the challenge. So like, I do a fair bit of like wild swimming as well, and nowhere near as much as I want to, but that's the same. As long as your routine is set out for when you get out of the water, you tend to be not too bad. Last time I did it properly in Scotland, it was like my light was like a bit of a man test. But yeah, the cold bin. The only reason I really do that is, what in some aspects it's good sort of prep for being in cold water, obviously. Yeah, but I do it because it's absolutely horrific. Yeah, like it's not a fun thing. No, it is good. It is good 3 to 5 minutes a day. I mean, for recovery, you've got to do about 15 minutes. I think they recommend. Yeah, fuck that. Which is a long time. Yeah, but in terms of like for your headspace, like to wake up and do something horrible, it's really good. And which sounds mad, I think, obviously to people who don't understand it or don't do it, but it is good. Like I got to the point where like when I wasn't doing it, I felt like I'd like let myself down, which I think is one of the few things in my life when I don't do something. Normally I'm like, oh, I've not done that, because everyone can be lazy. It's dead easy to get in like a lazy routine. But I got to the point where it's like we didn't do it. I was like, oh, I need to do that when I get home, because I've set myself this thing that I've got to do. Like there's a guy who follows both of us, Jake Bearded Shooter. Yes. I've mentioned him a few times on my podcast because he's a good lad, Jake. I speak to him, nearly every day. He part of say that he feels like he really wants to sort of push himself and get in a good fitness routine, and was like, it's easy to become lazy. And I was like, fucking tell me it's easy to become lazy, because all you need is one day when you're really sore to go, oh, I'm not going today. Yeah. And that is it. That one day.
To be fair, I did that last week, mate. I started off the week really good. I went, I did me walk up my pretend mountain. Did that on the Sunday with me weighted vest on, me day sack and what have you. Monday I did a kettlebell workout in the garden. Did a bit of skipping. Tuesday I went for a 4K run just around where I work. And then fucking Wednesday I'm fucking hanging. My legs were killing me. My back was killing me. I went, fuck this, I'm gonna have a day off. And then I haven't done anything since now, and until today, where I went for another fucking loaded walk with the kids and the missus. Yeah, I was like, fuck, stop doing that. Or I take a day, sure, but then get back to it. I think I'm going to start taking a few bits into work, as in like a kettlebell or something. Yeah, and then I'll just do a little circuit, go and hit the shower, and then get back to work. Like.
To say that most places now, like most working places, if you can go to it. I mean, if you're a key worker, most places have got a shower. Like our office has got a shower in it, so you can I can run to work and have a shower, and then
Well, there's fucking like at least 4, because where I am, there's Kings Hill it is, and it's a huge site, so it's full of different offices, buildings, and that. Basically, I'm the security manager for the whole site now. So I can pop into any of them and just go, I'm just going to use the shower, fuck it. Which I probably will do. I'm going to take some bits in tomorrow, I think. I've still got some fizz kit.
That's what I mean, like, with people. I'm like, just start small. Just make one small change. Yeah. Like, in your routine. So, like, instead of driving to work, if you can walk to work, Yeah. If I drive to work, it's literally 5 minutes.
My mum's a pain in the ass. She drives to work, and it's literally about 200 yards down the road.
Yeah, it's a mile and a half to my office.
A Welsh lady.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I started walking to work at the minute. Well, I did this last week because the snow, mostly because of the snow and stuff. I can't be arsed driving in the snow. It's just it's a nightmare, isn't it? But then things like that, like, got that little change. If you make that one little change, when you don't do it, then you're like, oh, I feel bad now. Yeah, because I've not done. Well, it depends on your own mindset, I think. But I know that if I get a bit lazy, it upsets me. Plus, as well, the amount of time, like say John, who you had on today, like he's the same boat. Like the amount of time he spends in the outdoors, you can't you can't be lazy. You've got to, you've got to be.
That's exactly what he was saying. He was saying, because we were talking about a few of the people that got stopped by the police and got done over, like the lady that travelled fucking, well, I don't even know how far. We'll call it 6 miles out of her village or wherever she lived to get a Costa, and then went for a walk. It's like, well, you didn't need to go and get a Costa. You could brought a Costa from home, Costa, a coffee from home. But he was saying that he got stopped because he goes on like proper fucking, as he called it, a mooch. He was doing like 18k, and he was like, well, if I get stopped, then I've got an excuse, because I'm an outdoorsman and that's my job. I've got to maintain a certain level of fitness. I can't just sit and watch Joe Wicks and do a circuit in my fucking garden. I've got to get out and have a walk, which is like, that makes sense. Like, you're not actually doing it, taking the piss.
I said. Yeah, that's all I said. I said, listen, like, I'm an outdoor instructor, so like, come like, the restrictions are lifted and I start taking people out again, I've got to be to a standard.
You can't be hanging out.
You can't be going up a hill being like, oh, Jesus, sorry lads, it's been a rough lockdown. Like,
I've had far too many fucking burgers on this fucking lockdown.
Yeah.
McDonald's
Plus
is open. We're still eating McDonald's. We're all right to eat McDonald's and get fat. Right.
People look to you though as well to sort of set an example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, especially if you're doing like any sort of outdoor work with young people, like sixth formers and things like that, they look at you as an instructor and being like, he's an instructor, so he's going to be at a standard. Like, no one knows what that standard is. I mean, because to be fair, you can have a reasonable standard of hill fitness and do everything in the outdoors. You don't have to be some like absolute SF phys god. Like, you can be a reason, because hill fit and like, gym fit are two different things. They're completely different. Yeah. Like,
it's the same with like most. It's like when you look at like the average Joe will look at a bodybuilder and go, "Fucking hell, they must be fit as fuck." Probably not.
Yeah.
If anything, they're probably hanging just walking up the stairs.
Yeah,
they're just aesthetically. I still think they look disgusting, but aesthetically, they think they're perfect. You know what I mean? But you probably find that a CrossFitter is far fitter than him. And
well, we had this conversation with I had this chat with Stu, saying that there's times when we took people out in the outdoors who do like train to a fairly high level of CrossFit, but after an hour they're only knackered because they only do an hour's intense.
Yeah. That's another thing that always wound me up. It winds my brother up as well with their little things that they have at CrossFit, like the fittest on earth. It's like, well, you're not, are you? Because you are literally just the best at being in the gym. That is what. It's like me and my brother always say, that's not a thing. They've made it a thing, but that's not a thing. You can't be the best at being in the gym. Using the gym makes you better at doing your activity, like climbing a mountain or fucking you don't say I'm the best fucking wall climber when no, you're the best at training to climb an actual mountain wall or whatever.
I mean, like, the only thing that we'll take from that is like when like, I totally get what you're saying, but like when I watched them and like looked into it more, so that fits on Earth as an example. Like, it must be well hard though, because they go to an event and they'll be like, right, tomorrow pack for swim.
I have seen.
Tell them what they're doing, and then they get there and they're like, right, you're going to do 4 million kettlebell raises, and then you're going to swim 6 miles and then do a 10k run, and they're like, okay, like not phased. I'd be like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
So we just say that I'm going to be last because that's what's going to happen.
Because I mean, some of them are quite.
They are now getting to that point where those guys are fucking. Those guys, the elite CrossFitters, like I've had Josh Bridges on the show. He's fucking an animal. But it's the average Joe that average Joe that goes to CrossFit who thinks he's fucking Billy Big Bollocks, and it's like, well, you're not though, are you, mate?
Yeah. I used to know a lad who used to do like, it just started doing a bit of martial arts. Yeah. And was like, I do martial arts. Yeah, but mate, come on. Like, in the scale of things, you go to a class like for half an hour, like once every 2 weeks. That's not like, you can't be putting it out that you're like, again, the fittest on earth, because you're not. And that's all you do. You do that one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
I had this chat with Chris the other day, because he was asking about like, the level of training that you do for search and things like that and mountain rescue, and I said to him, listen mate, I was like, it's probably on par with like what some reservists do. I was like, but if I had the time, I'd definitely do that.
Yeah.
And more admiration to anyone now who's doing that who's a reservist than full-time soldier, because you have to have like normal life, normal civilian life, with all the normal stresses of being a civilian, your family, job, and all that sort of stuff. But then you've got to maintain this level of, combat ready fitness, if you will.
Combat ready.
Who knows when we're going to kick off with someone again? You never know. Probably not for a long time. But
yeah, not for a long time, because everyone's fucked.
Quite funny, isn't it?
Hold on,
COVID,
they're kicking off. Oh, we can't. Why not? Lockdown.
Can't. Yeah, but you notice though, there's been no conflict, has there?
Nah.
Because every country's
all on lockdown,
been like,
mate.
shit.
They're all in their house waiting.
Yeah.
Apart from America. America just fighting themselves.
Oh yeah, that things got a bit heated over there, didn't it?
Oh, mate,
people were like, people were getting shot. What did you expect?
I had a semi-argument with someone because they were like, well, they didn't do that during the Black Lives Matter protest. It's like, that's a different thing. One's about race, the other's about politics.
If we stormed number 10 now, House of Commons, like we were like, let's get a group of us and let's go. What do you think would happen? Probably get shot.
Yeah.
Definitely get beat up. Probably get shot.
Definitely smashed.
And then if someone did get shot, you wouldn't be like, oh, they shot. They shot. Whoever.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, we did run at an armed cop, eh?
Yeah.
And tried to have a fight with him. What did you think was going to happen?
Like I said, I had a little thing. I was like, well, one, because they were comparing the both, and I was like, they're completely different circumstances.
Yeah, they were different.
It was like, yes, it ended in...
And they only show you a small bit as well, don't they?
Yeah, and I was like, yes, they both ended in some sort of riot. But one, like I said, one was race, one was politics. They were like, well, you didn't see the police having a go at the white people. It's like, yeah, you did. A white lady got shot.
Shot a woman?
She's dead.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But she's dead. And she was like, well...
Yeah.
They did. I was like, well, yeah, that's the point. They did. And you're saying this, it's like nothing to do with the skin color. Be up in arms though. If it was somebody of a different race, they got shot, they would have been, wow, those fucking police officers. But what I did, yes, the coppers did the good job. Here's one for you though. Did a good job. They put the suspect down that was causing the ruckus and what have you. Did you see anyone administer first aid for about, I would say, 30 seconds?
I've seen it.
So she's bleeding out, and everyone's going...
I've seen a clip. Yeah, I've seen a clip of like the initial shot taken, and then all you can hear is someone being like, "I'm a first aider," and like they will not let them through until everyone goes, "Yeah, she's going to bleed to death," and then like, "Oh, okay," and they all move out the way, and you're like, "Man, that was someone's life,"
Exactly.
But I think the problem that you see is that like you'll have 90% of the general population of whatever country you're in, England, America, whatever, that are genuinely all right people. Then you'll have 5% extreme left, 5% extreme right, and all those 5% either way do is just continuously go at each other. So when either side does right or wrong, the media are like, the entire country is wrecked. No, they're not though, are they? It's a small percentage of people who are just being a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. I'm pretty certain.
I keep saying, I've said it so many times. Take the bleach, take the warning label off bleach, and then just see what happens. I'm sure.
Yeah, just see
regular humans will prevail, and the idiots will go.
When anything bad used to happen, I know a lad who always used to go, "We need a plague," and I seen him the week of it, but you're not saying that now. I always like, no.
We need a plague. Well, it does seem to happen in the 20s, doesn't it? So you got 1920 was the fucking Spanish flu. Fucking 1820 was another one. So 2020 and now 2020.
Yeah.
But I just think
we'll see.
Going back to COVID, this is what that seems to be their huge talking point, obviously. But it's like a lot of people just think that all of a sudden it's just not going to be there anymore. And that's
not the case.
Everyone's got to realise that's not going to happen because it's a virus. We'll just
just need to adapt to this new world, innit? If I can, like the way people shop is, people like the country's going to like go in complete collapse because there'll be no shops. Well, they will. We'll just change how we do things. Like you'll have to change how you do things because people will. There's always going to be a need for as a consumer to have something, isn't there?
And also,
and people
it's
have
not hard to put a fucking mask on either. Even when it's all said and done, and you go out and they're going, right, if you're going into an area where there's a lot of people, like a food shop or a shopping centre like Blue Water, or I don't know what you have up north, Maryhill, maybe. I don't know if that's a shopping centre.
Yeah. No, I know Blue Water.
You might have to wear a fucking mask, or if you're on the tube or a fucking public transport, put a mask on. And then eventually, being around the virus and different viruses and bugs and what have you, your body then goes, oh yeah, we'll fucking get immune to that in a way. We'll put up some fucking walls, which is what the body does.
Yeah.
Because I was saying it to the missus, I was like, it's mad that your dad had COVID that bad, but the 3 other people in the house didn't have it, didn't show any symptoms or anything. And that's because they're around it and their body went, oh fuck, what's this little fucking nugget that's popped in our system? We'll destroy that.
Yeah.
Science, bitch.
Exactly. Well, like I was saying, like, like when people are going on like, well, the vaccine's only like 70% or 95% or whatever. Yeah, it is. Like most vaccines are. Yeah. But by having that vaccine once will probably stop you from going to hospital.
Yeah. What would you rather?
Just have it. Just use your toll.
Like I did say to the missus,
like people who don't wear a mask.
I'll wait until they like, until it's necessary for me to have it. But at the minute, I'm actually fighting fit. You might want to say I'm fitter than a majority of people. Like if it was between myself and her having it, I'd say you have it, or myself and if the kids needed it, like then let the kids have it. I'm sure that my body would be capable enough to fight through it. If it's not, then shit.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
But
it's a tough one.
It's like now you've got young boys, haven't you? It's like at school they have the flu vaccine. They don't need it, but the kids get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not much difference.
What I think what is mad is like obviously my oldest is 10 and my youngest is 6.
We've got
I heard one of
age kids, by the way.
Yeah, I heard one say today, like, we need to make sure we've got hand sanitizer and a mask. And it was only then where I was a bit like, oh, what a world to grow up in though as a kid, because like I was like, let's eat some mud and climb some trees, like,
which is probably why we're all right.
Yeah, but just think like the smart lads, the responsible, for their age and things like that, and but again, it's a bit like like going in and out of school. So like the term prior to Christmas, my eldest out of a 6-week term did 1 week in school. Weird. And I'm like, now I'm all for him having his education. I really am. Like, I want him to have a good education, but in the same aspect, it's tough because you kind of like, well, do I send him to school? Because in one hand, well, it showed the other day they were like, it's safe to go to school. Then overnight they went, in fact, no, it's not.
Yeah, actually, definitely not. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, and I think they will probably find that the kids will pick up more from their parents. So this might sound harsh to a few parents out there, but if you're a shit cunt parent, your kid is probably going to pick up on it. Like,
if you shout a lot, your kid will shout a lot.
Yeah, like to be fair, I lose my temper a lot, and then I've noticed that my girls pick up on little things that I do. Like, they've started to snap back a little bit now, and it's like, who are you fucking talking to? And then she's like, and then they're like, oh yeah, sorry, like that, and it's like, actually, that's probably them picking up on what I do. But mate, they come out with some fucking blinding things. Like, if I drop something on the floor now, mate, my youngest mate, she's as fucking sharp as a tack, mate. I dropped something the other day, and she went, "Dad," I was like, "Yeah." She went, You start sparking.
I was out with the lads a couple of weeks ago in the forest and that, and I picked up like this the top of like one of these stoves that was like really hot, and now because they were both next to me, I had this, I don't know why, I had this overwhelming parental thing of like, well, I can't put it down because it's too close to them, they might get burned. So I just turned around and put it down. And I kind of tried to act as brave as I could because it properly burned and it really hurt. And my oldie just went, did you not think of wearing a glove or something, Dad? And I was just like, yes. Yes, I did. You know,
they come out with some fucking blinding things, don't they? Some blinding things, mate.
No one will ever put you in the place like a child will, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
They're fucking brilliant. Oh, they are funny.
They're the best thing to embarrass you as well. Like, I remember when my oldest, when he was about 2 or 3, you know, they just start asking like random questions, but they do the real drawn out things. So we were at Centre Parks in this stairwell going up to a slide, and I was the only dad in there, and I was surrounded by like mums and their kids, and then there was me and my son. And I could see his little puzzled face going, and I was just stood there thinking, oh my God, whatever's out of his mouth, he's not going to be good. And he went, Dad, dead loud, and it echoed. And I was like, yes, son. And he went, why is that lady behind us got really small boobs, but this one here's got really big ones? And I just was like, put my head in his chest and was like, I want the will to swallow me up. I thought, I can't answer this. And the woman behind me just went, she's really lucky and I'm not. And I was absolutely mortified. And she went, it's just kids, innit? You'll get used to it. But then I had like a 5-minute wait in this queue of just like wanting to die. It's like, every time we got to speak, I was like, shush, be quiet.
Wait.
Mate, I was the only bloke there. I was like, now luckily a lot of them laughed, but there's 1 or 2 who didn't find it funny. And I certainly didn't find it funny at the time. I just wanted to die. So I just kind of stood and faced the wall the entire time, like, oh, I can't look at you anyone. Yeah. I can't wait till he's 18. I'm going to get him back for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's those little ones that you like, oh, remember that? Jot it down.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. I love them though. To be fair, as cheeky and as sassy as they are, I fucking wouldn't change them.
Yeah, I wouldn't change being a parent.
Mate, we almost had an issue on this walk. So, the youngest wanted to go through the woody bit because most of it was just on like a path. It was a bit boring. She was like, "We go in the wood bit." It wasn't much of a wood, by the way. So I took her in there, and she was like, actually, I'll go on the path with Mum, and Jess can go with you. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So me and the eldest went through this wood, and I was like trying to pick a decent route selection through this fucking forest that was a pain in the ass. Managed to get all the way through. She was being a bit like turning. She's 9, so she's getting to that age now where things are changing. So her moods are changing quite rapidly, shall we say?
Yeah.
And
you get that with lads though as well.
Yeah, she's getting the face on her now, and it was like, right,
I'm getting a bit of teenage attitude.
Yeah, we're going to cut through this bit here, Jess, and we'll get to the path, and we'll be sorted. All right. So we managed to get through all this spiky crap, and I turn around, and she's got, I don't even know what it was, but it's some sort of spiky fucking head of a flower or something. That's obviously. But it was all over my day sack and all that. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And it was all in her hair, mate. So she's got long blonde hair and all these fucking things matted in her hair. And I was like, oh, I'm in this shit now. My missus is a hairdresser. She was like,
right.
we got over to her. I managed to get as much out as I could. She was like, oh, that's all matted now. That's not going to come out. I might have to cut her hair short. And then the little face just dropped. Like, she was like, I'm gonna have my hair all cut off. And that was it then. Ruined the whole walk. Because she was in a strop. She was like, my mum's going to cut my hair off. I've got things in my hair. It's like, I told you to put a fucking hat on for a start.
So between Christmas and New Year, I had a very similar situation with my 2 lads. So like, was out in the forest with them and cut for this bit. And I was like, they were watching Ed Stafford Marooned before we went out. And I was like, oh, I'll take you through a bit. It's like a jungle. So yeah, it's like you're really dense time that is like dark. It's like, let's go through here. And as I started off with it, I was thinking, they're not going to enjoy this, but they want to go through a jungle, so let's do it. My youngest,
we're going to fucking do it.
Yeah, because he was, you know, he's 6, got no bag on, just put his hood up and was like mad for it, just like gone. Fit on everything. My oldest, nearly the same size as me now, he's a tall lad. Behind me, proper face on all the way through, and was like, oh, we're lost. I was like, we're not lost, mate. I know where we are. We just need to go that way. And he was like, I'm not doing this. Like proper moody. And I turned and went, if you listen to me, I'm trying to help you. Like I'm not trying to do this so it's like horrible. You're going to learn something from it. And he gave me that proper teenage like, and I was like, right. So I just knelt down at his eye level and went, if you want to fall out with me, you can fall out with me. It's fine. I was like, I know I'm old enough to deal with you falling out with me. But if you want me to fall out with you, will you cope well with that? And he just went, no, Dad. And I was like, let's be friends. Come on then. And when he come out of it, he went, wow. He was like, I'm never going in there ever again. I don't trust you at all. He had like pine needles all in his hood and inside his coat, which is what he's moaning at. I didn't realise. When he took his coat off and shook it, like half the forest.
Like a fucking Christmas tree.
Like, yeah, I thought, well, that's probably why he's moaning, because it's probably horrible.
That was another thing as well. So she's got these like sort of they're cheap ass shit from Sainsbury's, sort of Timberland type boots.
Yeah.
The youngest has got her wellies on, so she's fucking loving life, mate. Smashing through puddles. They're all frozen puddles, so she's smashing through the puddles. She's got these fucking Timberland style boots on, steps in one, and obviously all the fucking water goes into a shoe. She's like, Dad, I thought these were waterproof. I went, who told you that? She's like, you got them so we could. I went, yeah, I got you so you could go for a fucking walk in them. I didn't say they were waterproof.
Yeah.
And then she was like, she's like, I've got wet feet now. Am I going to get fucking frostbite? Am I going to get pneumonia? I was like, are you taking the piss? She was like, what? And I went, well, if you keep walking, you're going to stay warm, aren't you? You stop, then yeah, you're going to lose your leg.
So my youngest has got he's got new wellies now, but at the time he didn't have his new ones on. Or rather, I bought new ones after this incident. So I was out with him. And he was like, my feet are cold. Now he never said to me, my feet are wet. And I was like, well, you've got wellies on. You're gonna have cold feet. You got 2 pairs of socks on. You'll be all right. I was out for about an hour, and when I got him in the car, he took his wellies off, and then took his socks off. And went, why are your feet wet? He went, well, wellies leak. And I went, do they? And he went, yeah. So I thought, oh, it'll be okay. He's just got wet feet.
Yeah.
And then do you know when you've got like when your extremities go cold and they warm up and it absolutely kills?
Yeah.
He obviously had that with his feet, so I was like felt really bad then because he was like had his feet inside my hat and was like head in his hands, proper like, oh! Like the worst pain ever. And I was then trying to console 6-year-old like,
but also trying not to laugh.
Building. I was like, it's character building. You'll be all right.
It's character building. I like that.
I didn't know they had holes in. Yeah, mate, he hated me.
Oh, I had that the other day though. To be fair, when I went on my little walkabout on my own, I obviously had a few too many layers on, so I went like straight into the cold, and my body was cold, and then it all of a sudden just went red hot. And you know when you get itchy because you're so fucking hot. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is annoying. So I was there fucking scratching away. I was like, my missus was like, what's the matter with you? I went, oh, I've gone hot, cold too quick. And she was like, what do you mean? I went, I'm just itchy as fuck right now. She's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, cheers.
Cool. Right, mate, listen, I'm going to have to call it a night, I think.
Spot on, mate. I was going to say.
But I think we're about an hour, aren't we? Yeah. But,
yeah,
mate, it's been ace. It's been ace to be
always,
honest.
Mate. It's always a privilege to have you on. Always.
Yeah. We'll have to get another one on with Stu at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that'd be good.
Just a 3-way.
Yeah, mate. Well, you know, we can battle it out. You'll have to have like little signs that will just hold up like it's my turn to talk now.
Before you go, because I was about to say, because you were saying about the homeschooling and shit. So my kids' school is fucking shit hot with it. They're on this Microsoft Teams, and the teachers are there.
Oh yeah.
There's a button they can press, I think, and it literally raises a hand, so the teachers know when one of the kids needs to fucking. It's fucking brilliant. But anyway, we need that on the Granite Zero podcast to go. Yeah, I'm next. I've got a point.
Yeah.
Mate. I hope you have a fucking good rest of your evening and a good start to your week, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, stay safe, mate. Thanks for having us on.
I'll let you know when it's out.
Sweet. All right, take care, pal.
Golden, mate. Catch you in a bit.
See you in a bit.